Welcome back everyone, this is GTA Failer. In our last video we attempted a modified challenge from the YouTuber The Marcine, who suggested doing each of the 20 rampages in different districts than where each rampage started. So I decided to ramp up the difficulty of his challenge by trying to do each rampage on a different island from where the rampage starts. I was able to complete 15 of the 20 rampages in the last video, and this video is all about doing my darndest to pass as many of the remaining 5 rampages as possible. Here we're trying to take off cartel heads. I tried to minimize my exposure to the Colombians shooting at my car by going in the grass as much as I could and then sometimes running over them. Didn't quite work, but anyway, that was the attempt. Recall, if you fail a rampage in GTA 3, then the rampage icon reappears in a different location, and if you fail from the backup location, then the rampage icon reverts to the original location. So what you're seeing in this attempt is the backup starting location for that same rampage where we got to take off Colombian heads. Notice that it took me a solid 10 seconds just hopping back to my police car, and that's going to end up being significant because we're going to run out of time in this failed attempt right here. I did sometimes mess around with trying the alternate rampage start locations for some of the rampages that I really struggled with, just to see if maybe a different starting point would make it possible. Here again, we're plowing over these guys so that they don't shoot my car with their powerful guns. At least that's what I'm going to tell the judge. Fast forwarding through the trip across the bridge. And now let's see how many heads we can pop off here in Staunton. Oh, that's pretty cool. Jump off the corkscrew. Yeah, and so you can see just not a lot of time, maybe 35 seconds left by the time I'm finally in position to start shooting some heads. So in addition to worrying about the time, in this particular run, I also had to worry about my health because I'm, being really aggressive, standing out here in the middle, going toe-to-toe with these guys, just because I don't have time to wait around, time to hang out behind a wall or get up on a hill or whatever. And like I said, these Colombian cartel have quite powerful guns, not just powerful against my car, but also powerful against my fragile face. And yeah, so this one was about like time and health, like the balance between those two. And I think I would have run out of time anyway. I ended up dying because I lost all my health. Decided to go back to the original rampage starting location. Instead of heading into the grass immediately, I mostly drive on the western sidewalk here on this road, which allowed me to run over many of the Colombians on that sidewalk so that they couldn't shoot me, and also kept me kind of far away from the Colombians on the opposite sidewalk, the eastern sidewalk. And then here we're going to head into the grass. And, I'm showing you my best attempt at this, but I had a lot of fails because the grass over here is quite bumpy, and so it took many attempts to find like a good driving line, which avoided a lot of the bumps on the grass. Many of these bumps would they would kind of cause my vehicle to spin out, and so that would cost me a lot of time. And sometimes they would flip my vehicle, which would end the run and the attempt. But anyway, with a few attempts and not gunning at full speed, on the entire drive of the grass, I got this. This was my best attempt in terms of getting over to Staunton as quickly as I was able to. And again, we'll fling ourselves off of the corkscrew ramp up ahead and see how many heads we can pop off this time. I think I was aiming to get inside of the park there, but I guess I cut it a little bit too sharp, and then I was going to drive into the park, but my vehicle was too damaged by the Colombians here. So again, trying to find the balance between time available and my health. Trying to juggle these two things. If either one runs out, it's obviously the end of the attempt. So here we are, just running and gunning. I had about 50 seconds when I first started shooting these guys, which was about 15 more seconds than I had in the previous attempt. But again, still trying to play cautiously because I don't want to run out of health or time. Even though this is a success, you can see me flinging the camera around there. It's because it took me a ton of attempts, most of which I did not show you. Many attempts. Okay, so in the last video, I completed 15. Oh, check out that flying sentinel in the background. That's interesting. I completed 15 rampages in the last video, and this cartel pass makes rampage 16 out of 20 done. Okay, so I know I said I wasn't going to use any cheats, but I was so desperate to get out of Mafia territory here, I thought maybe invisible cars, they couldn't shoot me. They laughed at my pathetic attempt at trickery. And And we'll keep trying the Mafia stuff here. But I had to revert to an earlier save file, one in which the Mafia are not mad at me yet. I didn't know how to do it. I just couldn't figure out a way to get my car to survive getting off of this island. Not just getting out of St. Mark's, but getting off of the island. But because this is an early save file, the Callahan Bridge is not repaired, and so I got to figure out an alternate way to get over to Staunton Island before I start doing the actual shooting of this rampage. And you might recognize this as being my favorite ramp from early videos in this series for getting over to Staunton before the bridge is repaired. You'll also see me use this, that was called a mega jump, and I'll fail at doing a mega jump here, just trying to save a couple of seconds of hopping on this, this pier. But anyway, to remind you, the mega jump glitch works by doing jump, and then F3, and then F1. And it has to do with abusing the replay system. And the entire time that you're doing those buttons, you got to be walking forward. So you walk forward the whole time, never let go of the walking forward button, and then you jump, F3, F1 in rapid succession. And if you get the timing right, you can do a mega jump and oftentimes kill yourself because there are rules of the mega jump that I don't understand. Like if you do it on level ground, it's like instant death. You have to fall to someplace lower or fly into like a wall or car or something. Otherwise you die. Okay, so here we are, got the higher ground here. Mostly these Mafia can't come up here and attack me, so we're sort of protected. And again, this is the first time I'm seeing a gang off of its island. Like the Mafia never spawn over here, but here they are. Mafia on Staunton Island. First time I've seen it. So in this attempt, we got out of the car with about 45 seconds left. Had to kill 20 Mafia, again balancing health and time, but mostly it was time in this case, and just in the nick of time. 17 rampages down, 3 to go. Awesome. Okay, next rampage is the Hoods one with the shotgun. The difficulty is that it takes so long to get from Wichita Gardens to another island. In my attempt at this, at the previous video, I hopped off the roof and took the fixed Kuruma into the tunnel, but time is going to be so tight that if I actually have a chance of managing to pass this thing, I had to get a sports car onto the roof of all my attempts. I'm also using this despawn traffic glitch, which I don't normally use, but like seriously, every second is going to count in this particular attempt here. And so that glitch is rapidly scrolling through all of your different camera options. So for me, that's hitting the C button on my keyboard 6 times in a row. I think technically it's the cinematic camera that's the one that despawns traffic. Okay, in my previous attempt at this, in the last video, I ended up taking a right up here and heading over to Staunton Island, but I actually think it might be quicker to do the drive over to Portland. So that's what you're going to see me do here. Normally, I would fast forward through the long drives in the tunnels in this video and the last one, but I just wanted to show you like how much time is elapsing. I wanted you to experience how much time was going to elapse in doing this very long drive from the rampage starting position in Wichita Gardens at rooftop over here to Portland. And I can't even start shooting until I get to a place where pedestrians spawn. So I decided up here in Diablo territory was my best bet. One thing I have going for me is that the shotgun can take out multiple hoods in one blast if they are grouped together closely enough. So for example, that took out 2 with just 1 shot. Now there's no more spawns here, so I decided to take a few seconds to just drive a tiny bit down the road. Not worried about my health, it's just about time. Not even going to go for the guy behind me because he's a solo traveler, and we need packs, we need social hoods to cluster together for us. And with just like, I don't know, 2 seconds left on the clock, I think we're gonna get a pass in what was the toughest one for me for sure of all the rampages you've seen so far. That was a doozy, holy cow. Okay, here I'm starting from the backup location of this pop-off 20 hoods heads rampage. This one normally starts behind a billboard in Wichita Gardens, but just decided that maybe I should try, instead of going to the tunnel from Wichita Gardens, maybe I start the backup location for that rampage and head to the bridge. So we'll fast forward through this attempt here, the drive anyway, to the bridge. Something else I'll say about the previous attempt, the one where we went over to Portland, is that you know, like as I was driving, like that drive in the tunnel, like I was being so aggressive, and I lost some attempts that I didn't show, just because I was being too aggressive and trying to squeeze, you know, between two other NPC vehicles. There just wasn't enough room, and I'd roll and lose all my momentum or whatever, and yeah, just like I felt like I was playing like Mario Kart or something for parts of it, like just taking like super aggressive lines, like the inside of the curve when the tunnel curved, if the inside was available and there weren't cars in the way. Okay, so here we are, popping off heads, standard stuff. And again, time is just going to run out. But at least this one, like, it looked like it had potential. I think I tried it a couple more times. I'm not going to show you any more fails from this backup starting location, but we were getting there, right? Like before time ran out, I got something. But now we're going to go to the primary location for that same one. So totally different tact now. Wichita Gardens is, it takes a long time to get out of and over to Staunton Island by car, by road, but it's really close to Staunton Island as the crow flies. So that's what we're going to do is be a crow. It took me a couple of attempts to try to find how much runway I needed to get off the ground just barely before going in the water, but we got there. I've never been so happy with a 4-second dodo flight in my life. Also note that in every one of my attempts at this particular rampage, I had to start at the airport and fly my dodo over to Wichita Gardens and then land it successfully, you know, without flipping it or wrecking it or whatever. And so I didn't show you any of the other attempts besides this one. This is going to be my one success, but this was a time-consuming one just because it involved the dodo. Okay, so here it wasn't so much the time that was an issue. I think I was more worried about my health because these hoods can gang up on you and wreck you pretty quick if you're not careful. So I think a couple of times I decided not to aim for a head, but just to, you know, like aim for the body, just to get one of these guys who was close to me to stop taking away my health. But we got there in the end. This was sort of one of the more straightforward ones once I figured out the technique with the dodo. So this one just about done. I'll tell you that the final rampage, this is number 19 out of 20, passed. The final rampage is the one involving a flamethrower to take out Colombians. As usual, the difficulty is getting my vehicle to survive the trip off of Shoreside Vale Island and onto a different island. After many, many failed attempts at driving a car in this rampage, lots of different routes that I tried, I decided that the dodo was the way to go. And in this particular case, you're going to see me despawn traffic again, not because I'm worried about time so much like I was the other time I was despawning traffic, but just because the dodo has a hard time like navigating around cars, and I just need to be constantly accelerating. So I just need cars out of the way so I have my runway. Now, I could have just flown straight down into Staunton Island here, but the fact is, Colombians spawning in Staunton Island is not anything new, right? That's ordinary, right? They're always running around the construction area there. And so I decided to take a look at Portland Island for doing this rampage. I tried to land in the park over here in Diablo territory. I ended up missing the park on this attempt, but hopping back there. But now for the first time that I have ever seen, we have got Claude's worst nightmare, Colombian spawning on Portland Island. My goodness, this is rough. Okay, so many failed attempts that you didn't see at this one, where like I crashed my plane and then it blew up before I could get out because the plane was just kind of skidding all around on the road or the concrete. And then a couple of times I think where I just took too much damage from these Colombians here. But this is my success, 20 out of 20, gang. I had serious doubts that it'd be possible to pass all 20 of these when I started this challenge, but we got there. Some statistics, in case you're interested. I used a dodo in 2 of the rampages. I mega jumped in 1 of the rampages, that Mafia one. And in the other 17 rampages, I traveled from one island to another in a car. In exactly 2 of the rampages, I went all the way from Shoreside Vale over to Portland, including this one right here. 12 of the 20 rampages resulted in gangs spawning on islands that they weren't supposed to. So this challenge was a lot of fun. Many thanks to the Marcin for the idea, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you real soon.